Sound like a broken record to an extent, but what can I say? It's another day and another history. Only a few days ago, it was the first ever direct flight of Gulf Air, the national Bahraini airline, and today Egypt airline, as you've accurately say. And the question is, what's the novelty here, right? Because we have seen, again, as you've mentioned, direct flights between Cairo and Jerusalem in the past 40 years since the two countries signed the peace agreement, but no logo, no flag, this sub-company, this daughter company, Air Sinai, very under the radar, meaning that the Egyptians simply did not want this public display of the relationship. Now, if we're taking an overall look at the relationship, it is often dubbed as a cold peace, right? The security relations, the security interests, rather, are very much aligned many times. Egypt plays a key role in mediating between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, for example. Again, many security-related considerations that have always and are still on the table. But the people-to-people connection, the diplomatic relations, not been on the rise throughout those last decades. We have seen a more public display of relations in the past years, most notably in past months, if you will. Only short weeks ago, we've seen Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett heading to Sharm el-Sheikh to meet Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi with the Israeli flag there. Unlike, for example, the meeting we've seen between former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Egyptian Foreign Minister on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly back in 2018. We have seen a meeting, no Israeli flag. So we're seeing the Israeli flag. Now we're seeing the Egyptian flag on this plane landing here. So definitely a change of tune to an extent when we're talking about the public element of relations. And the question is, what could trigger that? So one important factor that we cannot ignore is what we've seen in the greater Middle East, the normalization agreements between Israel and Gulf states. As we've mentioned, only a few days ago, the Bahraini airline, the Emirati airline already operating. So perhaps this also, not as a sole reason, but helped to bolster Egypt, or perhaps invigorate it to pursue a more public display of relations. And from now on, Benita, we will see a regular line going back and forth from Cairo to Israel, to here at the International Ben Gurion Airport, and potentially in the near future also a line from Sharm el-Sheikh.
Certainly sounds like a signal of the changing times. Thank you so much, as always, diplomatic correspondent Ellie Hochenberg, updating us there live from Ben Gurion International Airport.